Hola and welcome to ProSpanish. We'll just begin the lesson by putting some vocabulary down at the bottom of the screen so that this lesson is accessible to learners of all levels. So we'll start with una broma. Una broma is a joke. Posible is possible. Nice and easy. La verdad is the truth. La verdad. And era is it was. Era, it was. So let's just become a bit familiar with this language. How would you say it was a joke? It was a joke. What would that be? Era una broma. Era una broma. So it was a joke. I was only joking. How would you say it was possible? It was possible. Era posible. Era posible. And just take a guess. How do you think we would say it was impossible? What would that be? Era imposible. Era imposible. You may know to make something a negative, we just put no at the beginning. So how would you say it wasn't possible? It wasn't possible. No era posible. No era posible. How about it wasn't the truth? It wasn't the truth. No era la verdad. No era la verdad. Okay, to say I said, it's dije. Dije. The verb is decir, the infinitive decir, but we want something useful that we can use. So, dije, I said. How would you say, I said that it was possible? I said that it was possible. Now, in English, we could say, I said it was possible, and not have the word that in there. But in Spanish, if in English it's possible to say the that, in Spanish you have to. And the word for that is que. Q-U-E, que. So how would you say, I said that it was possible? What would that be? Dije que era posible. Dije que era posible. I said that it was possible. How about, I said that it was impossible. I said that it was impossible. What would that be? Dije que era imposible. Dije que era imposible. How about, I said that it was not possible. I said, in other words, I said that it wasn't possible, if you remember the negative. Dije que no era posible. Dije que no era posible. How about, I said that it was a joke. I said that it was a joke. What would that be? Dije que era una broma. Dije que era una broma. And I'll just take a brief pause there to remind you that, useful as this YouTube channel may be, the full ProSpanish course is only available for download from prospanish.co.uk, and this package will take you step by step right up to a conversational level of Spanish in the shortest time possible. And for a limited time only, we'll be including a pack of the best 50 videos from the last 10 years of the ProSpanish YouTube channel. Okay, so back to the lesson. Okay, have a look at this Spanish phrase. Le dije la verdad. Le dije la verdad. Okay, le means him or her. Le is him or her. So, le dije la verdad. I said him or her the truth. Obviously, we would say I told him or her the truth. In Spanish, it's the same word for to say or to tell. So I said him, or I told him or her the truth. And just notice that the le goes first. So him, I told the truth. Her, I told the truth. So le dije la verdad. So try again without looking. How would you say, I told her the truth? What would that be? Le dije la verdad. Le dije la verdad. I told her or him the truth. It's the same. How about, I didn't tell her the truth? What would that be? I didn't tell her the truth. No le dije la verdad. No le dije la verdad. How about, I told him that it was impossible? So a nice long one. I told him that it was impossible. I said him. What would that be? Le dije que era imposible. Le dije que era imposible. I told him that it was impossible. I told her that it was impossible. How about, I told her that it was a joke? I told her that it was a joke. Le dije que era una broma. Le dije que era una broma. How about, I told her that it wasn't a joke. I told her that it wasn't a joke. Le dije que no era una broma. Le dije que no era una broma. Okay, now have a look at this Spanish phrase. Le dije a Pablo la verdad. Le dije a Pablo la verdad. And what do we think that means? I said to Pablo the truth. I said to Pablo the truth. Or I told Pablo the truth. Now, a few things to notice here. Firstly, said to Pablo, dije a Pablo, said to Pablo. Now, when we change from said to tell, or told, we don't use the to anymore. So we say told Pablo, but we say said to Pablo. In Spanish, it's always the said to type thing. So you've always got the a Pablo after it. You would never have dije Pablo, as in I told Pablo. It would always be dije a Pablo. I said to Pablo, or I told Pablo, but obviously with the a there. Okay, the other thing to notice is we still have the him or her in that phrase. So in English, we would not say, I told him to Pablo the truth. We would just say, I told Pablo the truth. But when we are using say, tell, with the name, we still have to use the him or her. So, le dije, I told him, to Pablo the truth. Okay? And it's best not to agonize too much over the kind of the grammar of it, but learn this as a kind of bit of a set structure and then kind of apply it kind of in chunks. So have a look at the phrase again and try and get it into your mind, that kind of fixed structure, and then I'll take it away and we're going to try and see if we can remember it. Okay, so how do we say I told Pablo the truth? Le dije a Pablo la verdad. Le dije a Pablo la verdad. How would we say I told Maria the truth? I told Maria the truth. So I told or I said her to Maria the truth. What would that be? Le dije a María la verdad. Le dije a María la verdad. How about I didn't tell Maria the truth. I didn't tell Maria the truth. What would that be? No le dije a María la verdad. No le dije a María la verdad. Okay, how about I told Pablo that it was impossible. Le dije a Pablo que era imposible. Le dije a Pablo que era imposible. So you get in your head, le dije a Pablo, le dije a María, le dije a mi padre, le dije a mi madre, whatever it might be, and then the rest. So how would you say, I told Maria that it was not possible. Le dije a María que no era posible. Le dije a María que no era posible. How about, I told Miguel that it was a joke. I told Miguel that it was a joke. Le dije a Miguel que era una broma. Le dije a Miguel que era una broma. How about, I told Pablo that it wasn't a joke. I told Pablo that it wasn't a joke. Le dije a Pablo que no era una broma. Le dije a Pablo que no era una broma. So let's see what we have so far. We have that to say, to tell, or I said, I told. We use the same word in Spanish, decir, and I said, or I told, dije. We've seen that him or her is le, and we put that before the verb. So I told him the truth. Le dije la verdad. And we've seen just now that when we're using a name, we still have to keep the him or her in there, even though that sounds strange in English to say, I told him to Pablo, whatever it is. Le dije a Pablo que era una broma. I told Pablo that it was a joke. Now another peculiarity or difference from how we would express something in English is when we say, I told him, or it might be like as a command, tell him, as in, tell him what we were talking about, tell him, or have you told him yet? Yes, I told him yesterday. So here we're assuming there is something to tell him. And while you don't need to understand the grammar to use this, you can just say, se lo dije, I told him, I told her. But in case you're interested, the lo is it. And we learnt earlier that le is him or her. So we're thinking, okay, why shouldn't it be le lo dije? Le lo dije, because of the him. And in Spanish, because of the two letter L's there, and they're quite short words, so le and lo, the Spanish sound system doesn't really like that, so it changes the le, the him, to se. And celo sounds better than lelo, which does sound a bit strange even in English. So celo it becomes. So se lo dije. That wraps up today's ProSpanish lesson. And as mentioned earlier, the videos on this channel are just our standalone supplementary videos. For the full levels 1 to 6 step-by-step course, head over to prospanish.co.uk.